just like that.
I can tell you that, so an individual wanted to make an investment into the schooling. So he had an artist create a steel fishing sculpture. It's 9 feet. The pole itself is 9 feet. The thing stands like 12 feet tall. Well, he wants us to erect it through the school in welding to show. So we'll have something that will show the students that if they want to participate in now to learn, because the guy's whole caveat is students have to build. He's paying for the machinery, he's paying for the whole thing because kids have to build.
Fair deal.
Yeah.
That's a good deal.
Yeah. So as I'm meeting with a few welders now to see if they'll play with us. If they do, I'll share that with you and then you can.
Yeah. Right now we have 0 welding program.
I know.
Well, all we have is the ag program at Lemon Bay. They got a small little welder.
Yep.
They bought on without telling anybody. And then advanced manufacturing has a classroom welder. It's just a small little one.
Yeah.
Where it takes all the fumes and filters out before it gets to you, but no like real welding.
Well, this is going to be rolling steel, welding steel, bending steel, creating a alt sculpture out of steel.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, and it's going to be posted in the community. It's going to be a whole big ribbon cutting thing like they want to do. So it will enlighten people further.
Hey, who's that guy on there?
I don't know.
Who's that movie star? We can't get the video to work.
Or something that's really good.
Our neighbor can't build.
I have no idea. I didn't touch anything.
Welders.
Yeah.
Make it.
Oh, am I supposed to sit there? Well, you can sit where you want.
I don't know about the movie star stuff, but I've been told I have a face for radio.
And it's so funny. Not enough people engage.
Can you keep?
There's no way to.
It could be more. You don't care?
So
And making invitations for them to engage. That's going to be the biggest
Would
thing.
anybody like any water? Coffee, water?
I'm good.
Also,
Okay, okay.
We joke about adding a microbrewery program for Charlotte County.
Oh my gosh, we talked about that. I did a whole tour of Ybor City.
Yeah, yeah.
Seriously?
Voluntarily.
Yeah, I did years ago. The Western Michigan was here.
Yeah.
We did a.
Says no device.
We were furious about it. We love that. That's manufacturing,
Well, it's market and you can create a business.
right?
And how fun would it be?
I mean,
to sell
it takes a great skill to be able to do that.
well, I'll
Some
tell you,
chemistry and everything.
that's what's becoming more and more prevalent is nano. So you can actually, if you've seen that as a resurgent, or actually it's just surging, is kids today don't drink nowhere near. It's down like 33%. I read it on today.
Huh.
And they're going to more, now it's
Other stuff.
CBD or whatever,
Right.
THC, they're going to the THC drinks.
Yeah.
And they're just not drinking alcohol. They're
Wow.
California sober.
Get the whole P team here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
This shamanist, whatever guy. Sir.
Seamus. Oh, Seamus.
Yeah.
Well, you mean?
Yes, yeah.
Seamus is on off-site today. Oh. It took me a while, sorry.
You don't follow your own social media?
No, she doesn't. Sometimes you want to ignore it, you know?
Okay.
No, I'm teasing. It's cute. It's fun too. I'm sorry. When I shared your stuff.
Yeah.
I truly do not know what's going on with the camera.
All right, I think we're gonna have to live without a camera because I certainly can't fix it.
I'm not worried about the camera, so as long as you acknowledge my existence every once in a while, I'm happy. So
Well, you're on the screen, so yeah.
We can't ignore you.
I'll
We
make
have
funny.
I think we have a 72-inch, so you use your imagination.
Oh, that's a pretty scary
You might
prospect.
be able to see your image in the reflection of our window across the way.
The brim low. Yeah, I'll make faces if I need to be heard. So
Okay, cool.
So branded out. Got the hat, got the shirt.
So will we be able to use PowerPoint?
Yeah, I'll share.
Okay,
A lot of other people did RSVP, so I don't know who else is coming, Will. Okay. If you want to wait a couple more minutes or if you want.
sure, we can wait. Everybody's okay about waiting a couple minutes?
I'm having a brain fart here. Hold on. Thank you.
Open your, yeah.
We're recording this
This is
meeting,
just-
by the way,
It's way too complicated for me.
so everybody
Go
knows.
back to Teams, yeah.
Or
Notes.
a public record.
There's gonna be a lot of people wanting to see it. Okay,
Da, 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 da.
that was painful, sorry. Maybe I should sign up for a tech class at CPC or something.
Be all for that. So why don't we take this moment to, Tom, why don't you start with introductions?
Yes, my name is Dr. Timur. I am the center director here at the Charlotte campus of FSW. I'm the campus director out here at the Charlotte campus and the center director out at Henry Glades in LaBelle.
And that's the desert. You must be in LaBelle because that's the desert out there?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yes,
It's,
okay.
yeah.
I'll go next. Kay Tracy, Economic Development Director.
Brian Granstra, Director of Career and Tech Ed, and today I celebrate 44 years around the sun.
Wow. That's a good number.
Yeah.
54? Oh, I wish we would have. had a
I know, you should have
cake
told me, I
for
would have definitely had an excuse to eat sweets, hello.
Birthday chips.
Dang.
Have some if you want them.
I have some from the ribbon cutting and everything.
Hello, everybody. I'm Brian Phillips from Tradesman's Place.
And Terry Kramer from SCORE.
Okay.
Jordan Ray, Economic Development Specialist.
Maria Vestola, Marketing Manager for Economic Development.
Okay, very good. So other people RSVP, like Dylan, is Dylan coming?
I don't know if Dylan is coming, she sent Brian on her behalf, I think.
Yeah, and she's at Baxter.
Oh,
So if she gets out, she'll jump on. If not, then
So Sandra from Goodwill did RSVP, Sue Craig from SBDC RSVP, Jessica said no, Allison said no, Doug Izzo said yes, Dylan, maybe. Dr. Rath is on. Dr. Granstra, Rob Harris said no, Bob White, I believe, said yes. Tammy Sweet, no, Stephanie, no, nobody from Career Source. So that's it. So we're missing a couple people, but I guess we should get started.
so we should get started.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody, for coming today, taking time out of your important schedules. We really appreciate it. Just wanted to, if you want to fly through the first few slides.
Okay.
I think you guys know
We
who
got
we
the
are.
last picture? There we go. All right, thanks.
Yeah, it's the team.
That's us.
So we wanted to meet today and talk about identifying gaps in services or resources offered to the organizations, and then brainstorm with our in regard to collaborative projects. Okay, I think you guys all know what entrepreneurship is, so we can forward. Our key objectives: increase the number of successful businesses, create jobs, diversify our local economy, expand access to opportunities for underserved groups, and then retain and grow with local wealth. And then our core program areas are education and training, access to capital, networking, and mentorship. Okay, so I think you guys all know this stuff. I feel funny just going through this with you guys, but a healthy ecosystem for entrepreneurship, having organizations and service providers to working together, which we have accomplished. I think we've been doing this for years. Have stakeholders understand their roles and avoid duplication if possible. Private public partnerships and nonprofit sectors collaborating on a regular basis. Entrepreneurs helping to design and improve programs. Underserved entrepreneurs easily accessing resources. And then connecting the workforce to the economic development strategies and opportunities. So then our characteristics of the healthy entrepreneurial ecosystem key functions, actually collaborating our partners, collaborating with our partners. If I don't look at it, I'm fine. and among all of our stakeholders, and then workforce training and business training, as well as mentorship. Okay, so
Okay.
you want to take it away, Maria?
Sure. So recently, starting in January, we started hosting quarterly business mixers. And basically what we do is invite anybody who filed business tax receipts in Charlotte County for that quarter to come out and meet all these different partner. Terry has been to both of them. Delin was at both of them. So we've had several partners come out. I know Terry was very successful. I know that SDDC mentioned to me that they had also gotten clients from these two mixers. So this is an example of what we're doing to help entrepreneurs. I started tracking the results after our last one. So we got 4 potential clients, 3 potential subject matter experts, and 2 potential mentors. From the first one, even though I didn't track it, I know that Sue from SDDC said she had 2 clients from our first mixer. I believe Terry said he might have gotten a couple, but we really weren't tracking it. So I am going to start doing that so that we can make sure that all of these things we're doing are beneficial. Our next one is July 16th. It's all over social media. I'm sure if you follow us, you've seen it. So if you're interested in coming.
We had if you want to go back, if you notice, we had an outstanding number of RSVPs on the last one. So we were quite excited about that. So we're tracking about roughly 30% of show rate for the event, which is okay. It's reasonable. It's manageable. 42 people. We were quite hot.
Yeah, and if it gets any bigger, we're going to need to find another space.
Yeah,
or
bring fans
downstairs on the 2nd floor.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a really nice.
That's the elevator here.
Oh yeah, Integrity is doing it.
Yeah.
Come back.
You should.
Hey, maybe we should have our business card exchange then, and they can have a free barbecue.
Absolutely. Or I'll take.
What do you know?
Crash their event.
You gotta just be creative and keep that mind going.
So basically, the summary so far is our first 2 have been very successful. I'm sure there's room for improvement, and every time we do them, we try to do something a little different. So
Say 4 potential clients. What do you mean by that?
that's SCORE.
Yeah, I talked to probably about 20 people, and out of that, I have results from 9 of them. 4 people, actually 3 of them have already signed up as clients. 4th one is talking to 3 potential subject matter experts and 2 potential mentors. So for us, it was great. And the first one, I had, I believe, 3 clients from the first one.
So with clients, are these individuals looking to start a new business?
Either that or existing business. With SCORE, we used to do a lot of startups. Now, actually, more than half of our clients are existing businesses that want to grow or expand or do something different.
And in a healthy ecosystem, economic ecosystem, you need entrepreneurs. You need people, small businesses that are budding, that are trying to make the next move. Some of them start out, it's just, a husband and a wife or just an individual. They want to add employees. They want to move out of their house and move into an actual office space. There's a myriad of, things that they need to do. They might need to have access to capital to do it, and SCORE, SBDC, a lot of these, maybe even the Goodwill micro enterprises might have that capital, etc. They might need access to workforce. Who are they going to be talking to? And that's why it's so important that our partners attend these types of events so that they can hear for themselves what some of these small businesses are needing.
I also had some people reach out to me directly, asking me they're all looking for a job. So I've been forwarding those to the partners.
Good.
So I've had a lot of reach out from people who have either attended or could not attend that are interested in the resources from the community. So it's good.
And then it gives us an opportunity also for us to let them know what is going on in our community. So, for example, the magnet programs and our childcare conversation programs, and all of the other things that we're doing within the community for our businesses that have critical needs. It's just a great opportunity for them. And then they can also exchange business cards as well.
What does SCORE stand for? What is,
Well, when it originally started 60 years ago, it stood for the Service Corps of Retired Executives. They've abandoned that because it's really not retired executives. We're a nonprofit. We've been around for 60 years. We offer free business mentoring given by experienced business owners,
okay,
people that have grown up through the system and really give back.
okay. Great.
We offer a lot of educational programs as well, seminars, webinars.
Okay.
Good question. Another thing too, I want to mention is that some of these smaller budding companies can't afford to sign up with the Chamber of Commerce yet.
Right.
So this gives them another opportunity to mingle with other entrepreneurs and businesses within Charlotte County and our partners, make themselves aware, or make themselves known to and aware to organizations like SCORE. So, you know, they could be XYZ company and they might offer services to small businesses.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be great if SCORE knew about that business? And they can say, hey, you know, have you heard of XYZ company? They offer a marketing service or whatever. You need that. Or tax service, I don't know, you know, something that could be useful to those.
That's interesting. If I were the guests, I would be completely wrong.
Yeah, so basically during this one, this is the first one we decided to do a business needs survey. This was the first question on there, which is, what are your top 3 current business needs? We had 27 people respond. We got a couple of responses after, but I just didn't update it. But the bottom line is that overwhelmingly marketing and visibility were their biggest concerns. And I was surprised by that too. I would have thought completely different, but you can see that it's by far the biggest issue that faces most of our Charlotte County entrepreneurs. So from this, I was thinking, since we're all here, this would be a great action item for the next one. Like one of our partner organizations giving like a webinar or using the second floor conference room on offering a marketing series. We started yesterday with SBDC. They gave the first out of 4, I believe.
In a series.
In a series, yeah, of she's doing Google twice, like different, you know, sections, and then she's going to do AI twice. It's going to be Patty from SBDC. I don't know if you guys know her. Again, if you follow our social media, I did give her a big thank you for that. But yeah, so that was the biggest thing coming out of it for me, was realizing that, you know, I think maybe capital or workforce is a huge issue, but really most of these smaller entrepreneurs are having an issue with marketing and visibility.
Do you think the hiring and workforce is not as high as everyone, because at the moment they're maybe only themselves?
Correct. I just think it's because they're entrepreneurs, small businesses. Yeah,
Okay.
specifically
Yeah.
this. So I'm saying, like, there was a big hunger in that group to learn more about marketing and visibility. So I just feel it's something that, you know, a partner organization, you know, could do, or could, you know, now that they know that's the need, to be able to focus on.
And it doesn't mean that that's not an issue. Obviously, 2 of the people who fill out the survey said that, wait, that's childcare.
Yeah.
I don't know where.
Where's
Workforce, hiring workforce. 5. So 5 of them, they did say, but because we give our partners an opportunity to speak at this function, they can introduce themselves and let them know that this is something that they do. They can offer to them, and it's free.
Most of the people that were there were very, very small businesses, and they're interested in customers. They need money, they need clients, visibility marketing. They're not even thinking about hiring people.
and what were the majority of the businesses that were present?
It's a pretty good mix, pretty good variety of businesses. There was plumbing, there was home wash, there was some construction, there was a pretty good mix.
like human services was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
The power selling mom. So just like it was just, yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. She does eBay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just very diverse group. Because I entered all the business surveys that came in, so I got to see what all the names were, but it was just an incredible array of different stuff.
You know, I think that we want to take that one and go somewhere with that, because I think that there's a lot of stay-at-home moms right now that would love to make an extra income.
Well, I've heard on the radio, the number of people who are using social media as a full-time job has increased over 1 million people in the United States.
You're just talking about that this morning.
And we have one in Englewood. You're Dane Duncan out there.
Yeah.
He does very well, but I was surprised to hear that many people can work full-time social media. in our country.
Yeah.
Well, that's why there was such an uproar when they wanted to take out that social media market in China.
Yeah.
What's the
TikTok,
TikTok?
Yeah.
still
A
not.
lot of people use it. Well, no, yeah. But a lot of people use it for marketing and business.
That's right.
It's a huge platform.
Do you use TikTok?
No,
And so when there's
you
a,
take it and keep it.
when the question of where's our workforce, where are the employees after the pandemic? Well, a lot of them retired, baby boomer generation, we're in that period. But also a lot of them actually went into business for themselves and started their online business. So there they are.
Yeah, well, you just have a participation problem in this country. It's not a lack of people, it's a lack of participants who get in the game.
Mhm.
That's very true.
And that's honestly, as we continue to dive into this, you're going to find that it addresses everything up there, like even the most daunting task of marketing and visibility. This, when it gets into the second level, which I'm going to have to introduce to you later because we're only going to start with Tradesman's Place, but Hewitt is the addressing of all that situation up there.
Cool.
It'll solve every problem that those entrepreneurs have.
Awesome.
Because generally in entrepreneurship, as you can see, some people have the work side and some have the business side. Very few times do they come together and everybody has both sides of that coin. Those are the rare gems. Hewitt solves the problem of not having one side.
Right. Very good. And then also wanted to mention that we do invite our regular businesses to this event. So we did have one or two regular businesses, and I say regular, they've got a location, they've been in business for years, they have employees.
Yes,
that
that's
sort of thing.
Now, you earlier
Thank you.
mentioned
Yeah, established.
you invite those who have like business in Charlotte County, like are you pulling a report from like who do business license following?
Yeah, so I basically pull a report every month of anybody who's filed a new business tax receipt,
Yeah,
which is public information you can get off the county website. And I send them a welcome email to Charlotte County and invite them to the business mixer. And then I also put it on Facebook, on Eventbrite, on LinkedIn, and then I do a ton of posts about it, So that's how I get the word
And
out
they'll
there.
be invited to the next one and it'll just continue to build.
So that's something like, there's less research of, the wealthier parts of the country have more entrepreneurs, high entrepreneurship ratio. And I wonder if we can able to track like how many new businesses open up every month in Charlotte County. It's
Well, I mean, according to our business tax receipt, but not everybody does a business tax receipt.
True.
So there's,
Yeah.
Well, that was one of my tasks to figure out how to incentivize people to file. I've been thinking about it, but yeah, that is one of the things Kay asked me to look into because the more it's the only way we really can put our finger on the pulse of what's going on. So
Like those who are doing social media, eBay, reselling, they may not initially file that.
forever really, because with eBay, since you don't really have to pay the sales tax, there's really not, it's not like you need a reseller certificate. So you're working out of your garage or whatever, it doesn't really. So
the other thing is, since Score's in the room, I don't know for sure if you helped a lot of people with the, business incentive.
Beneficial owner interest.
No, it was for the pandemic. They're called.
the hope thing.
There was a grant,
Oh,
That-
yeah, we do.
CARES Act, right? CARES Act grant.
Yep.
People who have been established here for years, have employees, but did not have a business tax receipt in this county, were not eligible for $20,000 free. That was a grant. So I don't know how much more you need to tell these people is it's $35 a year cost you $20,000. But what could we do? I mean, it was already established. They were licensed in Florida. They had, all of their other documentation, but they didn't pay the $35 that for business tax receipt.
Yeah, one of the things we try to do is when programs come out like that, we try to look at what the requirements are and the qualifications and that sort of thing, and then put messages out to our clients.
Yeah.
We have probably, my chapter alone, I probably have 7,000 or 8,000 mailing lists.
Yeah.
And they're all either former clients or just people who attended workshops. So we try to get whenever we find something like that.
Yeah.
We get the word out as quickly as we can.
Yeah.
But it's 2020 hindsight at that point.
Oh, right. You have to
Yeah,
have
you
had
do.
it for 2 years, I
Yeah.
think. That's what
Yeah.
it was, the deal was. But, yeah, I just like to throw that out there just to, as a reminder, it is an incentive for them to pay the $35 a year.
Yeah.
So this was the rest of the survey. Are you interested in one-on-one support? My mistake in that survey was putting from economic development because we're not really built to do, one-on-one support for everybody. It's just not feasible. So I am in the process of writing an email with all of the partner organizations and saying, I know you're interested in one-on-one. If you would want help with X, here's scores information, so that at least they can get helped. And for the next one, I'm going to change it to, are you interested in hearing back from a partner? And if so, click which one. That way I can, disseminate the information, because it's impossible for us to keep up with that. Then are you aware of any local programs, et cetera? Yes, 14, no, 8, and, they'd like to learn more, 5. Do you need help with recruiting? Yes. And all of them were recruiting, not training. So it was 6 yes for recruiting and 21 no. And are you planning to expand, relocate, or hire in the next 12 months? And we got 10 yes, no 9, and not sure 8. So just
5 to 6 on the new employees. Maybe their needs changed.
Yeah.
During the survey.
so, yeah.
We're
Interesting.
planning to expand the next 12 months. Can't imagine.
Hire or expand. So maybe hiring employees. I don't know. Yeah.
Aren't you? We're trying to.
Get bigger and better.
Well,
I never stop.
Yeah.
So it's the pursuit.
all right. And then another thing that we've been trying to do, as I'm sure you're aware, because I've talked it to death, is about the childcare situation in Charlotte County. We had Dr. Grainstra was on our panel for the February 5th. We had, from that, the action I took was to create a survey, which I passed out to all the businesses to see what their needs were. Of the 32 responses that I had, 19 expressed interest in moving further along with the state chamber, finding out about the business tax credit. So we scheduled a second round with Michaela from the chamber. From that webinar, we had 35 invited, 23 attended. We had from that 2 early learning child centers that are interested in moving forward, and they're working directly with Michaela on how to get the tax credit, which is great. I will be attending the Earners to Learners, which is going to be in Tampa in June. There's going to be a lot of examples of creative ways that they have used the tax credit or other ways to kind of help move childcare along. And also, I had a conversation with somebody who turned me on to a childcare specialist. And what she does is she comes in and she'll look at the landscape of the county and the town and figure out, are there needs? Where's the transportation? Things like that. And it's not just on the BPK and SR programs, it's on the entire county. So I don't know if you guys saw, but Collier County just had one done. And it's similar to that, where they go into details like, well, the center is licensed for 101, but they only have the size of the rooms only allows them 88 children. So it's like the licensing versus the availability isn't realistic, or, they don't have the staff to go at full license. So it takes into account all those things to give us a really clear picture of where are their childcare deserts, and gives us all those answers so that we know what the problem is clearly to be able to move forward. So hopefully I found somebody to fund the survey, and I found somebody willing to do the survey. So I put them together, and now we'll see what happens.
And Marie is doing such a bang up job on this. She has really uncovered a lot of information
Thank you.
and the grants and the
thank you to
people
funder.
to put together.
Thank you to the funder, whoever that.
Yeah, well, we'll see who it is. We'll wait. I'm not sure. So, I put it out there. I'm excited. It's something I really want to see, just, from all the conversations we had, and there's not clear data. The feedback I got from one center was they open based on data, but the data isn't complete. So now they're feeling like they don't really know what to do. So I think this survey is really important so the businesses can really understand where the need is.
And these are established businesses.
Yes.
We're talking.
Have the better grasp on the problem, make it much easier for us to solve the problem.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and I'm also trying to think about the out of the box kind of solutions. Like Dr. Grainstra, you mentioned that you knew somebody in Lee County who does. Yeah. So I will follow up with you at some point.
Apprenticeship program
Yeah.
for either at your home.
Yeah.
Home care, which
Which,
is not for everybody, but
it takes maybe 10 or 20% of the strain off the system. So I don't think it's a bad solution if it's something that's out there. But like I said, I'm basically going in every direction and seeing
we
what.
want to get this from all different directions. From the most expensive childcare to the lowest cost.
Yeah.
There's something for everybody.
I
Yeah,
agree.
and the problem is that we don't have anything in between here in Charlotte.
No Joe 6-pack.
So,
There we go, opportunity.
Well, I already thought of that. I mean, it's part of the thing that I think of is, again, participation. You have all these high school kids, like we have 2 young children. My kids get babysat. I call a girl that's been trained through a program here in Charlotte County somewhere. And my wife is comfortable with her watching my kid. And it's just like a daycare program or a childcare program. You call her up, you're like, are you available? You know what I mean? And if you had those accreditations and that pool of people that were willing to participate, doesn't have to be 9 to 5, it doesn't have to be from 7 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon when you come pick up your child. If they're in the game, they have the accreditations to provide that service. There should be a way to get hold of them. And
American Red Cross trained my daughter.
Pardon?
My American Red Cross, now she's 30,
Yeah.
but they trained her to be, she's a certified babysitter.
Right. And those are the things that a loving mother like my wife wants their children to have, to
Yeah.
feel comfortable letting them be babysat by somebody that you really don't know, but you
It's
know.
a step
You know
up.
what I mean?
It's a step up from just the girl down the street. Or
Yes.
The child down the street.
Yes, my
watching
wife
her
is
kid.
willing to leave for 4 hours. Today.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. Like I said, there was one thing I didn't put on here. It happened yesterday. SBDC hosted a Google webinar. I believe she said there was 25 RSVPs, 44% attended, and 33% converted to clients, which means basically 3 people. So just to make it less complicated, or 4 people basically, but that's the way they break down the numbers. So I thought that was great news too. So it seems like entrepreneurs here are very hungry for help and assistance. We just have to, figure out how to get it to them. And now it's back to Kay for the workforce development quiz.
No, you go ahead, take that.
Okay. Does anybody know what the median age in Charlotte County is?
52.
62.
Close.
43.
61.
Excellent work.
Yeah,
61.
I'm a nerd. I've looked that up.
60.8.
And that's come down.
Oh.
No, it's going,
No,
well, I
it's
mean,
going up.
Oh, is that going
it
up?
seems like it's plateauing, but yeah.
So
Getting
that,
old, they're living longer.
so that's a,
I feel like
that's the good news, because we're all living them longer. So
We can't produce more old people. So obviously,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the in-migration.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let Jordan explain this one because this is his area of expertise with lots of numbers.
Yeah, so that data is actually a little, I have a new one. But basically the number of people who are coming into the county, we're getting a lot of in-migration. I don't know if any of y'all saw Metro Forecasting's report. But our population in the next 5 years is going to go up to, what was it,
24.
200, well, no, it's
No, we're at 20.
We're at 224.
224.
It was 240.
Yeah, something like
It was like 240. Yeah. A huge growth in the last 20 years. But in that, our median age has gone up fairly significantly. In fact, if you look at it at a national scale, we're the 6th oldest county in the country.
I've never heard that before.
I thought we were the oldest for a while. We're Venice, Sarasota
The
was.
village is.
Now
Yes.
it's the village.
So it's Sumter County is the oldest county in America. They have an average age of 68.7, I think.
Hold them back.
But if you only count counties that have more than like 5,000 people living in them, we're number 2.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
So,
it's mostly
we're up
little
there.
counties in
Did you know
Texas
that?
that have like several hundred people in them.
What's the age group for labor force? Is it 18 to 65?
So what I did for this one was I was looking at generational replacement for the purposes of this graph. So I took everybody who was 20 and under and counted them as being 19 and under for how it separated out as in the children category. Working age, I believe, was 20 to
45.
well, for this one, I think it was
55, I thought.
20 to 55 or 54. And then anything 55 and up was considered, or no, sorry, it was 45. 45 and up was considered
I can stop working next year.
to be, well, retiring within the next 20 years. So you figure in the next 20 years, you're going to have 13% of the population move into the workforce. And in that same 20 years, you're going to have 29% of the workforce leave.
That's known. That's happening all over the world.
Yeah, it's worse in Charlotte County though. I mean, you look at Florida and they have the state of Florida at large, 15% retiring in the next 20 years, 22%
Coming up.
coming up into the work. So it's actually going to increase.
Yeah, that's a good.
But that's not the case for Charlotte County. We have a huge number of people who are older, and this technically that's our total population. I just did a separate one for purely people who are employed, and it comes up that that 51% of people in the workforce are over the age of 45.
Sure.
And of that, I think it was like 12% or 15%, something like that, were over the age of 65.
Yep.
So all of those people could retire any day at the drop of a hat. And there's just not enough people in the younger cohorts to move up and replace them. The only reason that our economy is sustainable right now is because of all the in-migration.
Oh, yeah.
Now, most of the people who are coming in are older and not working, but enough of them do work that they're able to replace those numbers that retire. But eventually, our population growth won't be quite as explosive as it has been in the last, 10 years. And when we reach that point, our economy in Charlotte County will just simply not be sustainable.
If we don't do something.
If we don't do something about it, it won't be sustainable. We'll have to, our businesses will need to go to Lee and Sarasota to get employees, and they may need to even relocate to those counties.
It's like a problem you have on like Sanibel and Captiva. The people who live there, people who work there, have a super long commute.
Yeah.
They can't afford to live there. So kind of get that.
It's kind of like what we're experiencing now.
Yeah.
However, I do want to step into the next topic of discussion, and that is you will hear this to ad nauseum with me. We are on the fast track to turn this ship around. There is an average population of 35 years old that is coming to the state of Florida, moving into the state of Florida. That's the average age. That's from the Florida Chamber of Commerce, that statistic. We want those people. So we are starting to bring the things that age group wants to do and is looking for in a community up to the surface. So it's very visible. Our magnet programs for our high schools, our just activities that are in our community. We have younger population here. Let's bring those activities that these people like to do to the surface. And when I'm talking to developers where they're looking to develop communities, I'm talking to them. You've got to have dog washing stations and live, work, play type of development to attract those younger workers. We need those young workers to come here to Charlotte County. Don't get me wrong, we love our aging population.
Well, you need them too.
I'm one of them, but we need to really have a concerted effort to talk positively about our community as partners, and to be able to draw those people to our area. So you're going to see more and more that's why we do our 40 under 40. We're doing business spotlights, our veterans program, permanent change of station with our veterans or Purple Heart community. Let's capitalize on that. Bring the young folks that have already been trained somewhere else in the military to Charlotte County. Just another reason. So we're concentrating on childcare. This is a critical need for our business community for younger people. Sorry.
I just moved the slide over.
Yeah.
Farrah's lost it here.
So
Yeah.
Northport, which is like a walk there pretty much. So close
Yeah.
we are. I'd love to see what their age bracket is compared to ours.
Their average age, I believe, is 46,
Okay.
48.
And it's just like a border that suddenly we're
Yeah. So basically, part of the reason for that is Charlotte County has been popularly and historically viewed as more of a retirement destination. And to some extent that's true. We have a lot of retirement focused communities here. Northport, especially with Welland Park, now the majority of Northport's population does not live in Welland Park, but Northport has been viewed as not as a retirement community, but as a place where all of the people who work in Sarasota come for families and
And that's
things
very
like that,
true.
which is very different from the perception of Charlotte County, even though we're basically, I mean, geographically very similar communities right next to each other. The perception of them is different.
Yeah, but what you perceive is what you believe. So
Yeah,
if you're seeing it, you're
exactly.
thinking it, you're.
And
that's what
what I'm finding is that, you know, and I'm going to be talking to our realtor groups and all of that. People are just talking about how old we are. You keep talking about it, then they're going to tell the next person and the next person. I'm talking to a developer or the realtor that has the Charlotte Town Center Mall. And he's like, I have a lot of people interested in your community. It's a very exciting area. But they just think it's too old.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you know what's going on in Charlotte County? Let me tell you, you know, we've grown by 11% in the last 20 months. That's 23,000 people here in Charlotte County. It is going gangbusters. Businesses are coming in.
Yeah.
We need people to start talking more positively.
We're getting, like, I know with the Magna program, with our school district, we're getting contacts from people from not part of our school system who want to go. We're getting people from out of county who want to do an out of county transfer, go to our schools.
Good.
It just started, you know, going to pick up, especially when we have a brand new airplane hangar at Charlotte High. That can help. That's people who are other counties coming here, you know,
That's right.
relocating, but
That's great.
I'm hoping.
But they could.
They could. And they want to guarantee their kid can go to school.
That's right. And get a job.
Yeah, that's it's kind of all hands on deck.
Mhm.
And I get that perception of being retired in the community. And you know, everything pretty much closes down at 9 o'clock.
We still have.
That's one of your strengths. So one of your strengths is your population is older, because what that lends itself to is services that are needed to service the elderly people because they're unable, unwilling, or have enough money, don't give a shit. So your business economic opportunity is huge.
Yeah.
And I think it's the antiquated way in which we've been always trying to sell businesses to come here. And it's, like I said, you got to have one side or the other side instead of making it simple, easy, where a certificate-based industry, based on the industry that you're applying for or wanting to work in, our government should allocate the simplicity of it. You have that certificate, you've demonstrated the ability, you should be able to get work.
Yeah. Absolutely. I really see this as an opportunity, a
it's huge.
positive opportunity. I mean, at least we know where we are now. We're pulling numbers. Jordan's doing an excellent job pulling numbers for us. And so we really get a good snapshot for where we are. Metro Forecasting did a wonderful work. And if you want a copy of that, I think Brian has it, the brand new one. If you're interested in seeing what those demographics look like, I'll be happy to send those over to. Same with you, Tom, if you'd like that.
Well, I mean, we know people who move to one area of the country or state to another often because of a job. I'm a prime example, you know, and so we get a lot of these employers not going to hire old elder, they're going to hire younger people to do some of these demanding jobs. And that will, now we get a business move in here, relocate. Hopefully their employees want to live close by, be part of our tax base, our school system. But that will happen if, you know, we get more of the business there and that ECAP starts filling up.
Right.
That will draw people in there. People work at Bucky's got to live somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hopefully here, not Northport.
Well, Jordan has uncovered that we have a net migration out just for working is higher than what's coming in.
Sure.
Yeah, we have a deficit, a commuter deficit of about 11,500 people. And that's every day, 11,500 people on the road leaving the county.
To go to Sarasota
Or
Lee
Lee.
County or somewhere else. I mean,
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
the way
there's-
to Pinellas and Miami. I mean,
Yeah,
we're going
there's
everywhere.
there's 15 or 16 counties on the list of where people commute to.
and what are the jobs they're commuting to?
I'm not sure what those are.
That's the tough question because
Northport has similar statistics though.
They do.
Their people are leaving to work elsewhere too. So
Yes.
you're not unique there, but I think Northport is looking at what kind of businesses they're going to and trying to get some of those.
I'd like to know how they find that statistic
Yeah, I don't know.
because we don't know how to do that.
Well, but I mean, they know that people are leaving.
Well, yeah,
We
they know
can
people.
come up with tax records.
You
Uh,
can,
folks.
yeah,
A couple of things. One is via Future Makers, they gave us a wonderful map that shows commute times by the 5-county region, including Charlotte County. And I'm looking at the map for Charlotte County, and the deeper the color, and I'll send this link to you guys so you have it. It shows that we're in deep red in terms of commute time. So a lot of students are commuting out of Charlotte County for their work compared to some other counties. Something to think about. I'll share that information with you.
It's great news for economic development because then we have the workforce. It's just we need more employers here to
Yep.
keep these guys in our county.
So the actual measurement is commute time, travel time to work.
Yeah.
The other thing is, as the economic development people know better than I do, is that young workers are attracted to cities and locations that have very deep and rich cultural offerings and cultural lives. And so as we're having these discussions, I think that we do a good job, but I think we need to kind of amp up and even do a greater effort in terms of encouraging cultural activities in Charlotte County that attract that kind of population. I know that my daughter is dragging me to just about every popular artist concert in the world nowadays, a 15-year-old daughter. And to get to some of the major events, I know it may be something we can't do, but I'm going to Tampa, I'm going to Orlando, I'm going to Fort Lauderdale. In fact, we're going up to Bonnaroo in Tennessee over the summer. I'm not saying we get to those epic levels, but that's something to consider. If you look at the research, the more we develop our cultural attractions, the more likely people are going to want to be in the community. And obviously, Dr. Granster and Mark, who I saw at our graduation recently, are doing a very good job to talk to develop these nodes, these centers of excellence when it comes to students who may not want to go straight to college, who may want to work in a lucrative field. But I really think we should encourage developing a place where people want to be in terms of culture as much as possible. The last thing, because I am a nerd about this stuff, and the last data I had looked at, it was census data, was a 2022 data. But I did extrapolate that there are 28,000 adult students or potential adult students in Charlotte County. That means there are 28,000 people between the ages of 20 and 54 who have either have a high school diploma but have no college, some college or no degree or no college or post-secondary education. So there is a population out there that we can reach. So that's the end of my story.
I would love to see that material.
Yeah, I'll send it along. The heat map is really interesting.
That's
So I'll send
great.
that to you. Yeah.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So why don't we then, Brian, I don't know if you're prepared to talk, but I don't think that you have a problem with telling about what you do, Tradesman Place and.
Well, I would just like to ask you and just begin it like this. What have you heard?
About Tradesman Place.
Yeah.
Well, it's not fully open yet.
Nope.
But you guys are in the process of figuring out, I guess.
Onboarding the first two.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Just
All right, that's where we are. We've gone through all the lawyers. I guess you'd say. I've had an abundance of time spending with lawyers, which I find daunting, but necessary. We've gone through the insurance companies, and put all the things that are necessary for us to begin to accept students as far as the insurance and the workers' comp and all the other necessities and evils. Yeah, we're basically going to onboard the first two companies as a pilot program to understand the nuances of with kids in this type of learning environment. It's I pray a lot and I've been really asking the Lord, this is last week, like, dude, are we doing the right thing? Is this moving in the right direction? Or what you're telling me applicable? You know, like, is this going to work? Well, Lord, I always ask for answers and usually somebody else gets them and gives it to me. But this time he decided to give it right to me. So Sunday at church, God looked me in the eyeballs. It was the second time I went to church on Sunday, and not Bible preaching here, but it was just an opportunity to go twice. So I went, and they point blank said, like, you're going to happen. It wasn't like at me. It was in the general thing, but it was saying, listen, somebody in here has been working for over 10 years, maybe even 20 years on a program and this thing, and it's going to come to fruition. And this is the time. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. That's great. So that night I listened to C-SPAN every night, and there was a seminar on there of a lady who is from Harvard. She is an educator at Harvard and other Ivy League schools. And she was talking about 2 and 4 year colleges and how they're not just as applicable as they once were. And basically what I'm saying is all the information that we're receiving and you're seeing is lessening for 2 and 4 year universities and kids want something sooner. They want certificate-based industries that allow them to participate without having to be engaged for 4 years or 2 years. And everything that this lady said was applicable to what situations you're having here with student engagement. And I just think that what we're trying to do at Tradesman's Place is to give kids an opportunity to always be leveling up, always be moving forward, and tethering that to industry standards. So if they disengage from this environment and move to another, they still have accredited opportunities to move forward again in that field of endeavor. So it's basically expanding the horizon, allowing them to move within a realm of everything being certified to industry standards, and growing them to be able to become entrepreneurs. Because as most of us in this room have seen, you don't want to work from 9 to 5. You experienced from COVID that you didn't have to go to work, that you can work from your house. Engagement is the issue because everybody's expecting them to come in like they used to from 7 to 3. This is going to allow them, as they continue to grow in Tradesman's Place, graduate to Hewitt, and they'll be able to select. That's a whole other realm, but they'll be able to expect or select the time in which they want to engage with the industry that they would choose from the education that they've got. So it's a lot, but I have full faith and confidence in what we're doing and where we are, and we're ready to roll this thing out, and we're going to start small to go fast later. I'm in control of the 2 pilot companies, so I'm going to learn all the dynamics and all the nuances that may be present and work them all out, and then invite businesses to play with us. That economic development has provided us information on what kids are looking for. The high school has given us information on the areas that they find interest in, and we're going to go there first. So it's going to be a community, high school interest level together, and we're going to provide the education and the certificates to allow these kids to move forward and become entrepreneurs in by the time they graduate high school.
So
Brian, how are you addressing on gorilla of the employers? I mean, because you're going to have to convince the employers that that's what the kids want, and that it's to their advantage to buy in. And because if they're not going to accept
I
it,
appreciate the question, and believe me, it's one I've contemplated, but it's a win-win-win-win for everybody involved.
I know, I understand if you can convince them of that.
But I don't think there's a convincing, because I think what it does, and especially my businesses, is it allows me to become stronger as a business. So let's just say, what business would you want to be in? What business do you yourself, I'm asking,
I've been in a lot of businesses.
which one do you find the best or most challenging?
What I'm doing right now, actually,
Yeah.
business consulting.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's the best part. So you solve problems in your job. That's all you do. Every day you wake up, you listen to somebody talk, and you solve a problem. So you're looking at this opportunity as having the issue or needing a solution to engage the business. So if I was to come to you and I set you down and I say, how many employees do you have? You have 5. How many opportunities have you missed because you didn't have enough labor pool? How many jobs could you unable to take? You had the opportunity, but you couldn't fulfill the opportunity because you didn't have enough participants or laborers. So what if I tell you, you can create a pool of labor for yourself? You educate these kids to the industry standards, okay, of your business related to how you operate. So we're going to extrapolate information from the certificates and use it in conjunction with the business to develop scope of works, right? Learning, small pieces, baby pieces. They're going to learn X, Y, and Z the first 3 weeks, X, Y, and Z, all applicable to what your business needs, to what the industry standard is. Now, after 2 years, you've created a kid who has 4 levels of certificates. So every 9.5 weeks, let's say he was capable to do what it is that you asked him to do. He would be a tier 4, let's say, carpenter or landscape or whatever, right? So when he gets to that point and he's going to go to college now, he's done working with you, he's going to go to another field of endeavor. He doesn't want to stick around, doesn't want to move forward with you. But he has these 4 levels of criteria that allow you to reach back to him later or to post a job that you need this level of work. And you've already trained 15 people. They no longer work for you, but they're out there with that certificate. And you know that they're capable because they've gone through the industry standards. They work for you.
Right.
Now you land the big job. You post that opportunity. That kid doesn't want to work from 9 to 5. He wants to be an entrepreneur on his own, but he's got your level of certificate. He can plug back into you and come to work with you and help you fulfill your need. How many businesses have you seen shuttered in Charlotte County in the middle of the day? Have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen a Wendy's close or a hardware store close in the middle of the day because they don't have staffing?
Sure.
Okay, so those people are working on a labor pool of 50 people that they trained. What if they needed 50 and they had 50, but they had 100 outside of them that they can pull from when they need it? So they've given them the training. They've given this kid a tool for his tool bag to take with him because that certificate's forever with him. You've given him a tool for the rest of his life. And he's always able to come back to you to help you when you need help if you're falling short. Not the 50 people you have, but the 150 people that you've trained over 5 years that are dispersed throughout the community.
What's the cycle time? How
Meaning,
long do I have to invest before I get to this utopia of having this pool of people?
whatever is applicable for you and your business. So let's
I mean,
just.
it's funny.
I
I
love
know what you're doing.
I love this game because
Yeah.
this to me makes me better and,
Yeah.
and allows me the ability to think outside even further. So I appreciate, there's nothing in this room that you guys could say to me that would offend me. Let's just start there. You could tell me the idea sucks and take it home and I'm good. Because this thing didn't start by trying to develop a business. It started with trying to solve a problem. And I think this problem has been solved very well if and when we roll it out and do it in for real. I am confident in it. I believe in it. But I'm okay going home and playing in my own sandbox. That's what I'm saying. Like this thing started with us just trying to solve the problem for my family and their businesses. And because of Mr. Murphy, that's how this thing got out. They say we were doing this all on our own under the radar, and then it got out, and then Delane grabbed it, and she's like, and then I'm like, all right, well,
yeah,
I like my hole, but no, I question everything that I'm doing because I'm a business owner, and I know exactly what it feels like to have someone come into my business and say, this is what we want to do, and you're like,
So
dude,
this
no
is-
way.
So this is a comment from Tom. I can't see you. I know you can see me, guys. I think maybe you buried a lead a little bit because what after the second iteration of hearing what you do,
Take my picture down. Sure.
I heard what I really was excited about was how you solved the liability issue.
What do you mean?
Employer liability, because I think you're trying to find, am I mistaken that you're trying to find a certain way to take the burden of the training of liability issue off of the employers in terms of the training programs?
Yes. So
Yeah,
I'm the
could you
conduit
explain
between
that
this,
through?
I'm the conduit between the school and the business. And basically it's like a PEO. So it's a professional employment organization for the most part that provides training as well as the back end of the business.
So if I'm an employer and I'm looking for you to train up some folks for my need, in the past, my hesitancy with apprenticeship programs is I have to absorb that liability if anything happens. My
Yeah,
understanding with you is that you're essentially absorbing that liability issue.
absolutely correct.
Okay.
Yep. I make it simple for you to play with me. I carry all the burden and all the risk. You just gotta educate this kid and train this kid to an industry standard certificate, which will be married back to the schools, which they will receive accreditation for moving forward and forever with them.
And so,
Yeah, the reason I brought that up was that was a key difference between what you do and many other apprenticeships type programs out there. I can't invite someone on my campus to do business on my campus for events, public facing events, unless they have $2 million of insurance.
Yeah.
For liability. And so maybe to answer the question, as an if I had a business that I needed to train people up to train them up for widget making, right? Classic economics widget making, then I would be like, oh, I can do that, and I don't have to worry about little Tommy Rath cutting his hand on the widgets while we're doing training up for widget making. That's not my liability, and that's a big thing to I would say to a lot of employers out there.
It's huge. And that was one of the biggest stomach, it's not a biggest stomach. That was one of my, like yourself, biggest thought processes that I had to go through and get in front of people, because here's what's happening. The education industry is dramatically changing at paces unseen, and with different concepts, like what we're deploying here, is going around the country. So in that seminar thing I listened to from that lady from Harvard, she said one of the states that are most changing the environment is Nebraska. So I call it a toolbox or tool bag, whatever you want to call it, where the certificates go in, the child takes it with them. They're calling these skills wallets. So they have a skill wallet. And this lady said within the next 3 to 5 years, most states will have a skills wallet for job applications. And she also said that there's 1 million certificates available in this country, and 33% of all jobs need a certificate. So that's 330,000 people just on one certificate and one career and one job. So the game is changing. And what I'm fighting, and it's awesome to play with these people, is like workman's comp and insurance companies are having to create business models in the industry realm for this. So what we're creating is changing the way insurance companies insures businesses because of what we're doing. And not just me, the educational industry and how it's changing
that's cool.
its model.
Yeah.
Because it's not just a 2 or 4 year college. Kids don't want to wait anymore. That's what the one thing she even says in here is they don't want to. Here was their reasons: is fear of debt, fear of being in a classroom for another 4 years. They want to move forward with their lives, and industries are adapting their resumes to be more certificate-based friendly. So there's a shift in the way people are going to be employed and educated. And it's happening, and we're there.
One thing, a benefit of this top of helping our local employers may help with the drain of employee youth who leave the area. So we have a small number of youth to work with,
Yeah.
but then everyone we can keep that would have left, gone who knows where, will help change that population pyramid so there'll be more.
I just feel you're gonna have some to invite people into that are gonna be able to control their own environment.
Yeah.
With employment. Like, all I can say as far as what, and I'm not even supposed to say anything, but it's really not. It's just put it just the one term thing is it's honestly, it's Uber for work. That's just all I can say. That's how the future of employment is going to be, because people want independence and freedom, and they're going to find freedom when they can schedule themselves to do the tasks they want to do, when and how. Period.
Interesting.
Period. That's how it's going to be.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah, that's going to
Yeah.
re-energize that base that I mentioned in the very beginning of talking. Is it's not a people problem, it's a participation problem. But kids, they don't want to be told when they got to participate.
So is it just for kids or is it for
Rollout.
young adults? And
Rollout is until we, it's not me, until we get it to where we've solved the problem for the kids, because that's where it started. And once we get through that, then we'll look to adults who want to re-energize their career and fall into this environment. Because I think employees like myself, I have 44 employees. I love every one of them. But I just tell you that I am a guidance counselor, I am a psychologist, I am a bank, I am a tire fixer, I've become a mechanic. I've done every job that you can ever imagine. Yeah, to engage people to come and to do the task. Well, part of the other reason is to be honest, you don't have to manage that. That aspect is gone. You post the it's just coming. Like, it's just, people aren't gonna have to deal with people who don't want to be with where they are.
Well,
They're gonna be there because they want it.
I love that. I know what you mean by this Q. I can't remember Q something.
Cue it.
Oh, Q it. You got something.
Oh,
No. I'm
Oh.
saying you got something.
oh, I thought.
That's okay. I'm from my background is from the employment industry.
Oh, well,
So you
we
got
were
it.
good friends before, but we're gonna be really good friends now. No.
That's cool. That is cool. And
I'm
if
just-
somebody can look on their phone, on an app to get a job.
And the heartbeat is Tradesman Place.
Yeah.
The heartbeat starts with Tradesman Place and teaming with children in schools and communities to allow their citizens to engage into this simple task environment.
Yeah.
It's the sweetest thing about it is it doesn't have to be when a kid sits in this chair, he's for 2 years with no reward. No, nothing. Just, I'm going to come here for 2 years. I'm going to sit in this chair. You're going to give me pieces of paper and I'm going to fill them out and I'm going to graduate. And then at the end, you're going to hand me this piece of paper that says you did it. What did I do? Same with high school. 4 years, you go to school, you get a piece of paper and says I graduated with what? You don't have it broken down into micro pieces. You don't have it broken down that I did 4 years of English. All you know is I went to school for 4 years and I got a piece of paper. Now I want to go get a job. I think if you create it and you break it down and you say, hey, man, this kid had interest in X, Y, and Z. He did this. He did the math. He did the science. Show me where he is. Don't just give me a piece of paper that says I graduated high school. Show me what I did in high school. Now show me what I've done in excess of what I did at high school.
The employer puts their criteria in there and it pops out a couple of names or a few names.
The next one's called U Inc. That'll be the next thing that gets developed. Is U
Awesome.
Incorporated.
Awesome. Very good. Thank you, Brian. Does anybody have any questions for Brian? Tom? Anybody? No. Awesome. Can't wait.
It's coming. It's
Okay,
just,
so do you think by August,
oh, yeah.
by the next
School year?
semester? Yeah.
Well, we're onboarding next, I believe Dylan said we'll be ready next week. So we'll onboard the first two companies, which is landscaping and irrigation. They're going to come on. And we'll measure those over the course of the summer. And I'm thinking once we get into school, so we've already done all that or most of that. There's I have the statistics. I think there's 56 kids that are interested in secondary education or trades education. Prior to that, we're gonna weed them out a little further just to get to be certain that they're moving towards the opportunity that they so desire and want, because their want and desire is what's going to drive them to be successful.
Right.
And then from there, we do their rollout when they come into the school will be a 30 hours OSHA program and a 10-hour employability program. So before they even get into Tradesman's Place, we're already furnishing them with 2 tools that they can take with them
That's great.
I kind of understand how OSHA works and I know my safety rights and my employability skills, which I'm kind of excited to go through that program to see exactly what educators think employability skills are compared to what a guy who has been doing it for 27 years looks to for an employer.
Are they non-competing businesses that are coming to you, or you have
Yes.
10 landscaping businesses, or?
You can do that. It's all going to be on the demand of the community. The community is going to drive the education. It's not the school or the PEO or whatever you want to, it's not tradesmen's.
Mhm.
It's the actual community working in conjunction with them to make jobs that create education for jobs that are actually needed in the
Okay,
environment. that
and,
you're living.
and the majority of these, students are gonna be people that just don't wanna go on to, higher education opportunities.
Or you-
They wanna-
well-
they'll be getting a certificate, but in a trade.
So I believe that we have the 3 E's now, right? So those that select employ are going to be the ones that are going to move over.
Gotcha.
Don't have to move over to tradesman's place.
Yeah.
They're going to move out in that realm, the
Right.
employability realm.
Okay.
Yeah, there could be 15 landscapers. There could be, it doesn't make a difference. And it's all going to cut tailor back to, and that's the other thing that's going to be so great is you're going to be able to measure the employer on their ability to educate their employees.
Mhm.
So they could get kicked out of tradesman's place. If they're failing to educate them to the standards of the degree, they're out.
Good.
If the student fails to uphold its credentials and doing the right thing and they get complaints, they're out.
Mhm.
Like, you have to want this. This, I think, is the equivalency of going to college because you're receiving something that shows that you have the ability to learn. The same thing a college certificate does, which 50% of all people never use for what they went to school for. It just shows that you have the ability to learn and you have skills.
Do they need a GED to do this, or can they just drop out of school and come to you?
They could rip it out of school if they so choose.
So they could, okay.
I mean, I hope they continue to go down the path of getting a diploma because that's, integral in a lot of things. But if you look, I have a brother, the only one in 5 generations going to the same high school that our family grew up in, didn't graduate. So he's a business owner with 9 employees right now. You know what I mean? So like, yes, you don't need college
Yeah.
or high school, but it's kind of a good thing to have.
Yeah.
How do you establish the standards that they're trained to?
Well, you're gonna choose the industry's regulated standards.
Okay,
So, like, for me,
landscaping industry, that's
FNGLA.
standards that,
Florida Nursery Landscaper Growers Association,
perfect.
we're gonna marry them. We've already been in consulting with them
Okay.
for the last 2 years. We're gonna use their standards, break them apart, right?
Yep.
To make them small pieces, go into your business or be with you and consult you in your business to say which ones of these things are applicable to your business that you need them to learn.
Okay.
So if you were gonna hire somebody that knew what you wanted to know, what is it? Show me, tell me, talk to me.
So all 15 of those landscapers that you've got on board, or that you're gonna get on board, just Kay mentioned, what about 15 of them, are all gonna operate from the same standard?
Mhm.
Okay.
So you're gonna have a credibility.
Right.
Right, that's the thing is you want,
Transferability of
There it is.
certificate.
and somebody can pick up on you can,
Or somebody, one of these bigger landscaping
Yeah.
companies could participate with you.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's like one of the things that this lady said in this seminar that she was reporting on C-SPAN was
Or pool companies. or
700,000 people are employed by, I think, Amazon. He's gonna get into the Amazon, he's gonna get into the education game because Amazon has 700,000 workers and are expected to get into the education game, and his are called learning stacks. So you come in, day 1, you gotta learn how to drive a tow motor. Day 2, you gotta learn X, Y, and Z. He just keeps stacking them on top of you.
So will you go to that extent if you find a willing employer to, let's just say it's somebody in distribution or
Yeah.
or whatever. Here's how you drive a forklift.
Yep.
Here's your certification. Here's your,
But see, here's the thing is it's gonna come from the employer. So you're gonna build the education and the platforms for the employer to institute in his business. It's not happening at Tradesman's Place. It's happening in the location of the
they
individual.
have their own training. And
Because that's why you work in conjunction with them. You go to them with the set of standards and you're gonna say, this is your industry standards. Of these, which ones do you use most regularly? Okay, so it's these ones. Now you're gonna build curriculum and education around those ones that he's learning to always be moving the student forward or the individual forward to the end of a conglomerate of the certificate. So you're not gonna, you may not
So
start at
your certificate or the business's certificate or the industry?
industry standards
It
certificate.
is,
Yeah.
okay.
It's gonna be, you're gonna marry this industry standard certificates.
And then as far as OSHA is concerned, some of these students aren't 18 yet. And because you have an OSHA course,
Yep.
they are allowed to
Yep.
work for these companies.
Yep,
Okay.
Yep.
Even if they're not 18.
yep. Believe it or not, because I'm able to employ, the water district isn't able to employ them, but I can employ them and they can employ them through me.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So,
Wow, that you made some significant strides because I can't believe that OSHA rock has moved. Seriously. I mean, you couldn't even look at somebody cross-eyed with less than 18-year-old to move into because again, I'm from the employment industry. So
well, that's not what got started with the water district, is that they couldn't employ him.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
dude, we're dying on the vine
Yeah.
here with our employers because we can't get new young help here because they can't get employed. I'm like, huh, let me find out.
So I have a comment here, and this isn't a but statement, it's an and statement. So I'm contractually obligated to talk about colleges because I work at a college, so forgive me. I always have trouble when people are comparing or using Harvard University as a standard for workforce development. So I get what you're saying. The Harvard analogy is a tough one to compare.
Yeah, I
with.
agree.
I think that what you're doing is answering a question that needed an answer, and it's really filling a void that needs to be filled. At some point, however, there is the same kind of, there is a workforce need that is probably more appropriately filled by places like CTC and places like state colleges and community colleges. The good news is there's a bridge between the two. And you mentioned industry certifications, and Dr. Granstra knows this, that many industry certifications yield college credit at community colleges and state colleges towards a degree program.
Nice.
And the one area that I think it's an and statement, everybody's needs are met, is that when you get to that point where you're going to supervise others, then there is a step up, I think, in the level of necessary education. That frontline management position lends itself to stuff that happens at community, state, and colleges and universities. So like I said, I'm contractually obligated to say that it's part of my job. But I think there is an articulation, a stepwise approach to this that I think we need to listen to what you're doing in your filling that need. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is many people are getting out of high school and they're sitting home and they're playing their Xbox. Because
It's participation.
yeah, they're not, they don't have a goal, they don't have a drive.
And everything is from
anything.
9 to 5, 8 to 6.
Yeah.
You know, it's unappealing because of disengagement.
Yeah.
And it's honestly, and for us in this room, we're probably pretty good with it, but the effort that it takes in order to achieve success in college and secondary education, they have no drive to do it because they're done with school.
But
They want to go make money.
I think that if you're looking for the main reason why there isn't persistence and completion in higher education, it is motivational. It isn't access based. You can go here, and if you qualify for Pell, you have essentially a free ride. It's really motivation. Why are you there, and are you in the right place to do what you want to do? And so I agree. I think you're doing the right thing. We're developing disciplined processes for people to become good workers and know what
Right.
it takes to be a good worker. So
Yeah,
That-
who
that
knows?
just-
And that
They
can open
may
the
move
door
on
to your
then.
secondary college.
That's right. They may move on.
And
They might
because-
think, hey, I don't want to, I don't want to be in the beating sun every single day on top of a roof. Maybe I'll go to college and I'll own the roofing company and I'll, and then I'll
Well,
have employees.
yeah, well,
That are on the roof.
You're already Just
A
wait.
great example that
Let
I
me get through
use.
this and then you just blow
Okay,
your mind.
okay.
I'll tell you, the next level of this thing is it's rocket fuel. And just got to get through these little nuances, let everybody understand what the first part is and accept the first part, because when the second part comes, you're gonna be like, shit.
Well, that's good. So how can you identify the gaps in what you understand our partners are here?
Meaning,
Is what you need, or the businesses that you're working with need from our partner group, from this organization?
honestly, right now, it's just to continue to move forward in the direction that we are going. And basically, when we get through with where we are, I'm going to turn back to you with a solution to things that you can help. You can give to the people that you want to be helping
All right.
and give them a pathway to success.
Okay. Cool.
So I'm not really looking for you to help me. I'm going to try to come back and help you because that's my job. I like to help. I don't like to receive
I
help.
like help.
I'm a better
I like
giver than receiver.
I need a lot of help. So Terry, what about you? Are there any gaps in services that you can see that the people that you're working with, your clients, that we can do better?
I think that, the EDCs in the counties around here have been getting better at making it easier for people to go into a business. Before it was always, you got to jump through all these hoops and then, oh, you missed this piece of this hoop, so you start over. It's just to make it difficult. And I think that the counties have gotten a lot better at that because they realize they need more businesses. So make it easier for them to go, do a better job than you have done in the past. But yeah, no, we see a great variety of businesses. A lot of them are really small mom and pop shops. If you're bringing in, to solve the problem of the migration of workers, you've got to bring in larger businesses that employ more people.
Good.
And if you want to bring in younger people, if you want to lower that age, you've got to have maybe higher skilled jobs.
Oh.
But that kind of flies in the face of not being able to, it flies in the face of the people you're bringing into the workforce, which is great. That's
Well,
what we need. So
I would encourage bringing greater businesses that are more technology advanced.
yes,
Like-
yes, agreed.
Yeah, and that's not gonna, that will only edify what I'm doing. It's not gonna hinder, like, the jobs that are certificate industry, standard jobs are jobs that a lot of people steer away from. And there's, as you can tell from our demographics of our ages, just more and greater opportunity every single day here for
Sure.
all services.
I agree.
I don't care if you're cleaning houses, pools, landscaping, washing detail cars, ceramic coating, it don't matter what it is. We need it. Yeah,
No, I agree.
there's a market for it.
Yeah,
You just gotta be wanting to do it.
right.
Yeah,
Very good.
that's
And credentialed enough to be able to do it for yourself. And if
So how
that's,
can we collaborate better to help you, Terry? What is there anything that we can do as a group to help?
No, I don't think so. I think, we take the opportunity to engage with whatever kind of events you have, because, I love talking to the people and we are successful in telling people what we do and helping them along the way. So there isn't a lot more. I appreciate the opportunity to partner with you guys because you've got you put the people in the room, and it's up to me to talk to them and see what they want to do and see if there's a way that we can match what they want to do with what we can provide.
what's the number one resource that you are asked to?
Usually funding, which we don't give money. We don't give grants. We help if you have a business and you need funding, we help you prepare.
The documents in order to apply for the funding.
Exactly. You build a business plan, you build your case for needing the funding.
And you help them.
So are you looking like an SBA, like a small business administration counselor, like?
We don't give
SBDC
money.
kind of.
SBD, we do the same thing as SBDC, except they get paid a lot more than we do.
Yeah.
We're volunteer. But Yeah, we work on a lot of the SBA loan programs.
Yeah.
Grants, that sort of thing, to
Okay.
prepare people that have a business that want to get funding, that they don't know how to do it.
Help them become bank lender ready.
Lender
Yes.
Ready, which you can learn about on May
Boom,
15th
boom.
at 1 p.m. Thank you.
Good, good, very good. And Brian, what about you?
For us, especially these new programs, is connection to businesses, so we are seeking portion of the county's sales tax revenue
Mhm.
for the purpose of buying new equipment, enhancing facilities. But I don't want to be the person making the decision of what specifically we're buying. I want industry to tell us what we need so we can meet the needs of the industry. I can take a lucky guess, but I also want to be one of those programs with nice shiny object that was, oh yeah, I wish you'd have bought this because it's much more helpful for you, and so like I visited an adult manufacturing training center in Pasco County, had a whole wall of CNC machines that every single one of them was recommended by industry. And so to help build a vibrant manufacturing industry, we need the workforce. So the workforce we have right now, there's also other agencies that can help us too, but that is the key. With every industry we do, we want to have the industry tell us what is needed so we get the best return on investment. So depending on how much we get, and it could be a sizable portion. Because what's nice about this funding is it serves two things. It's economic development and it's also educational value for students. And biggest crime I can do in my field is to have students train and not have a connection to the workforce. So
That's college.
yeah. So we're
Yeah.
And well, Reese College, like if you say you go to school to be an accountant, you're gonna go do that, then you graduate and then get hired by an accounting firm. Or I want to be an educator, went to school, but like if you just go to
Go
college,
general studies and you come, or not even general studies, like physical therapists. They don't, you know what I mean? Like they come out and they go somewhere else.
yeah. And so one thing we're looking at is have students develop portfolios.
Yep.
So when they're in high school, all things are doing all their certifications, they get the work-based learning. We helped
Also, skills wallet.
Yeah, there it is.
well, Space Florida. So Space Florida is the state agency, the independent special district, are bringing the space industry to Florida. We helped them pilot a space job portal. So their developer went to Charlotte High School and helped us, our students pilot our robotics team. They were actually part of it. And so the students entered their credentials, their certifications, their experience, their competition, all that stuff. And then NASA, Boeing, SpaceX also have access to that, and they can pick and choose who they want to interview from.
Who's the most committed? Who's the farthest along?
Yep, and it's all about based on skills.
Yep.
And
It's a little rocket ship and, they go like
The
this.
meter.
well, and that's where we're not going to launch rockets in Cape now. We're over here, ever, at least in our lifetimes.
No.
But we want industries to support that
Yeah.
instead of being in Georgia, Alabama, Texas,
Florida.
being Florida, being specifically in Charlotte County.
Yeah.
Is there a synergy though between EDC and what you're doing? You're looking at industries you think you want, or space or whatever. How does that work with what they're trying to do with the county?
Because they
Is
tell
there a
us,
synergy? They
Oh, yeah.
tell you?
okay, if we're going to start a new program,
He's been on calls with us for
Okay.
prospects.
I mean, it seems like you guys you're trying to do one thing with the county. If he's trying to do something different.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah,
We're-
No, they're aligned.
and most things,
I keep telling them,
most institutions like that, or most counties where there's like the divide.
Yeah.
they don't
you know,
communicate.
Because my job is to, of the economic purpose, picture on the workforce side.
Sure.
Or at least what I can control from our K-12 system plus post-secondary. And we want to, but we have to be in alignment. So one of their goals is to add advanced manufacturing in Charlotte County. So guess what? We're starting 2 advanced manufacturing programs. I've had the goal, I want to have 100 to 150 graduates per year once we finally get rolling. That's a workforce. That's a big time workforce for Charlotte County our size. And then we want to help develop with manufacturing. I see is building an ecosystem. So we have like that workforce base. I think just like, from Michigan, auto industries there. There's so many auto suppliers around there. There's a strong ecosystem. So whatever manufacturing we attract here, hopefully we get some type of ecosystem. I like to get, we did that at NATO conference, which was awesome. And we defense industry, probably the
Department of Defense. I was gonna tell you, my uncle's in that. He makes like missile fins and
Yeah.
he's booked out. He's using all that high end metals and,
Yeah.
but he's booked out for say like 37 months.
And the latest budget proposal for the Department of Defense is over $1 trillion.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is buying things. And
You might benefit in reaching out to Malcolm because he started a entrepreneur trade school there, and he also does battle bots. He started the whole high school battle bot thing. He's huge into education up there.
it's up there.
Cleveland.
Cool.
And he's got all those connections in the Defense Department and all that. If that's the direction that you might want to go, then that would be the guy that you would love to talk to.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's the the ultimate. And also semiconductor is a big push now for a lot of reasons. If you look at a map of the semiconductor fabs in Florida, Florida's actually 5th in the country for semiconductor production. Fun fact. Visited a facility over in Melbourne, Florida. L3 Harris, the defense contractor. They do all kinds of weird stuff there, but we're only allowed in one part of the building. Most of it's top secret. But we're a desert for semiconductor production. No one in Southwest Florida makes anything semiconductor related.
Which is prime. for
Yeah.
them, because they don't want it all in one spot.
But they also like to kind of cluster together too. And so for workforce stealing or whatever. But we're not going to build a semiconductor fabrication facility right now. One, it costs about $1,800 per square foot to build one of those. So if you want to build something this big,
1,800.
there's $1,800 right
Yeah, it's
there.
it, man.
And but also the programs we're adapting. So Port Charlotte High's program for advanced manufacturing, which is going to start this August. That I talked to a consultant in the industry. He said that will hurry for 80% of the skills needed to be a semiconductor technician. And then he also said no semiconductor facility is going to put a 18-year-old, 19-year-old out on a $1.5 billion machine without going through their corporate training. So the addition for semiconductor parts is just one more course. But right now we can have that person who has that base skills. So what we're going to do in Charlotte is basically the 5-year plan. So think of sports. We all like sports here, right? All right. So years 1, 2, and 3 want to be a good team. Years 4 and 5, we're going to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
That's our thought. So be good, you go to the Super Bowl. We're never going to build a clean room for semiconductors, at least not in my lifetime, unless someone has, $50 million want to burn. But we don't have to because we can do a simulated clean room. We can do everything you do in a clean room, but not actually be a clean room. We wear the bunny suits, can do all the procedures, have the goggles on, but then pretend it's clean room. Or University of Florida, I've been working with the professors there. Their building is called Digital Twins. So they have a clean room at UF, and their program has developed a virtual reality program.
Absolutely.
Then it's basically free to go in there. And so the Florida Semiconductor Institute is the big player in Florida for semiconductors, growth and game. So we got pretty good connections there because I go to all their meetings, but also I'm friends with their number one workforce person, and they hired someone I recommend too. So I got 2 people I know very well in there. But in terms of like inside knowledge and the connection to it. So with Florida Semiconductor, Space Florida is like the big thing in Florida in terms of politics. Space Florida is like needed. All legislators usually sign up on it.
Yeah.
No one says no to space.
Right.
And Cape Canaveral, Brevard County is booming right now because of all the investment going on in aerospace. And we want to ride some of that great retraining. We're positioned to do that. So we have an airport with land available.
Yeah.
We have a workforce. We have, and then our new facility we're buying by the airport, that's 10 acres. And so it's 10 acres Woodlawn. You know where that is?
Yep.
Okay, so the Woodlawn and Amigo Pallets. It's right across from Street Corner, the Bluebell Creamery right there. If you go from that property during rush hour, during tourist season, you can go as far north in 1 hour as Lakewood Ranch and as far south as Dana Springs. That entire area, a student can from within an hour, and also an employer from within an hour each way.
Yep.
You can get that. That's quite a big population. So once we get rolling, and then Dr. Rath want to meet with you. There's that one program. I found the program I was referring to. I was talking about. I don't know why I'm looking at you. Can't see me, but
I'm doing it too.
you have a science engineering program, I believe it is.
Yes. It's an ASL science and engineering technology. Yes.
And I'm working with Florida Semiconductor Institute because they said the highest need for semiconductors in Florida right now is at the AS level. And they have engineering technology. So my question for them was, is science engineering technology close enough to engineering technology? Is it one of the programs identified as in high need in Florida? Because if it is, then we can have that program of study where students can go from Charlotte High to FSW or CTC to FSW and then help recruit employers to the area.
Yeah, we'll have to do a concordance between the engineering technology and that degree. So yeah, we can talk about that to see if it meets especially the framework outcomes. So yeah, certainly. I do have to ask for forgiveness. I got a call that I have to return from a superintendent. Dr. Granstra is not your boss, so you can
Good.
feel
All right.
better about that.
I was gonna say,
But,
blow them off.
I said 10
Just
minutes,
kidding.
15 minutes ago.
Just kidding.
But I do want to make a shameless pitch before I go, if you don't mind, and then we can go back to
Yes,
more exciting
please.
stuff. On Thursday, June 19th from 6 to 8 p.m. out here in the Charlotte campus, we are, Peter Oxedy, who's our entrepreneurial guru, he's the head of our Davler Institute of Entrepreneurship, is going to be hosting an open mic pitch practice event. That's where people will come and have an open mic pitching their elevator speeches and all that kind of good stuff. It'll be here out at campus. It'll be done in partnership with us and also with Cap Table Nation and several other luminaries. I will send a press release to both you and to Maria, so you have that information if you want to distribute. But outside of that, great discussions today. I would say for people who I have to pitch colleges, for people who may have this kind of view of colleges not producing people who make good money and have good careers, I would refer you to the Georgetown Center of Education and Workforce. Just kind of look through that to look at the value of even a liberal arts degree. Eventually, liberal arts degrees do pay off as much as some professional degrees over a lifetime in terms of the value of the degree over earning a lifetime. So I'm just doing that because if I don't do that, ninjas will repel from the ceiling and take me away if I don't defend the world of colleges. Okay.
And
So-
and Dr. Rath, if you could please send us those links that you were talking about.
Oh,
And
yeah.
also, if you can gather a list from your 15-year-old daughter on what things that she likes to attend, I'll look into it and I'll talk to tourism about it.
Well, if you can attract Tyler the Creator, 21 Pilots, let's see, Childish Gambino, what was the other one we did? Oh, there were several others. I'm the oldest person in attendance at those concerts. I think they all think I'm a narc. So, all right, folks, I gotta go.
Very
We'll see
good. Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. It's fun. That's good information. And so when you were talking about clean rooms,
Mhm.
I'm thinking about when I was looking to do an innovation hub myself for economic development, clean rooms and hospital operating rooms, to have people certified to clean them. That is an art and a highly demanded skill. I don't know any company that does that, but I'm sure they're out there. But that, if there was a business that I would create, it would be that. Get a certification for, my gosh, the hospitals would use them all the time. The surgery centers would use them all the time.
Well, with a semiconductor clean room fabrication facility, one speck of dust
Yes,
shut a whole fabrication
Yes.
facility down and cost
Yes.
millions of dollars of cost production.
yes.
Because semiconductors, everything we have runs off of semiconductors, and there's more and more investments going into it. But yeah, what's going on in Cape Canaveral? Because Cape Canaveral, before they just put the rocket together, launched space, and they built it all over the country because government projects, NASA, senators,
Right.
representatives, all these politicians wanted things in their own district. Well, now it's private sector. They don't care about that. They want to make money. So you put it in Cape Canaveral,
Yep.
which everything is. And so can we be one of those suppliers? Can we make the fin for something? Can we do anything, you name it, here? And so since we're only 3 hours from every major center, population center in Florida, assuming I-4 cooperates.
Yeah.
And then we have Fort Manatee, not too far away, maybe 45 minutes from here?
60 minutes.
6 minutes, okay. And then, so we are in a good position. We have the land where other places don't have that. And, another thing, most of that is our average wage are lower than other major population centers. So our workforce is lower cost than other places too, which you guys know. Right? Part of your pitch, part of your spiel. So, but yeah, connection to workforce, that's our biggest thing and always will be. So what's the best thing a business can help us is their knowledge and expertise. That's the most important thing. Yes,
Go ahead.
yes, we love donations and all that stuff. But expertise, knowledge, and then if they're able to hire students for OJT or at least let them intern, get the experience, but putting us in the right direction, make sure we're aligned exactly. Whenever we're not aligned, we're just wasting our time.
Yeah.
There's aviation, we're not recording, are we?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
You want me to stop?
Sure.
Okay, hold momentarily, please.